Welcome to Live Your Best Midlife. I'm your host, Jill Lewis. Join me for inspiring pep talks and expert interviews as we explore staying active, feeling great, and embracing midlife adventures. Whether you're an empty nester, a pickleball enthusiast, or just ready to rediscover your vibrant self, this podcast is for you. Let's make our mid-years our best years. Now, on to the show. Welcome back to the podcast. This is your host, Jill Lewis, and today I am joined by two authors of a book called In a Pickle. I am super intrigued with them. This is Dr. Stormy Hill and Teri Citterman, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Of course.
Good to be here.
Great. I am so excited to talk to you. What inspired you to write a book about pickleball?
We love pickleball. And we always say, what did we talk about before pickleball took over our life? That's probably the main thing. And then really our own journeys. And for me, playing with my boyfriend, we have a great relationship. And all of a sudden on the court, we were not representing the great relationship as we got better and the play got more competitive and just seeing it everywhere. And then meeting Teri, and she can add to why we wrote the book, but that was my journey, was my inspiration for wanting to write the book, my own relationship journey on the pickleball court.
Gotcha. And Stormy, what was your background before? I'll ask both of you this, but what was your background before authoring this book?
So I am a mental health occupational therapist. I've done that for about 15 years now. And then I have other businesses in special education and occupational therapy. And then most recently, about 4 years ago, I became a certified relationship and intimacy coach. And so really that background, I was like, really, we need to bring, honestly, it was full disclosure. It was like, what the heck? I'm not practicing what I preach here on the court. We were struggling with it. So it was really like, how do I use my background skill set, combine it with Teri's background skill set and write a book that's really helpful for the masses.
Gotcha. So Teri, tell me, what's your story?
Yeah, so we wrote this book for couples who want to play together. This is the fastest growing sport. More and more people are coming out. And so we really, like Stormy said, it's based on our own experience of playing with our partners. So my husband and I actually moved to Austin from Seattle, the birthplace of pickleball. We had never seen a pickleball court. We had never heard of the game pickleball. We get to Austin and it is everywhere. And so we started playing together, and it was fun. And then it wasn't. My husband is uber competitive. I'm competitive, but there's a next level of competitiveness that I am not. And he's also naturally talented. He picks up a golf club, becomes a scratch golfer. He picks up a tennis racket and becomes a champion. So my journey's not quite that way. And so we were playing together. It was becoming harder and harder. The eye rolls, the looks of death, all that stuff was just, it sucked. And so at some point, we seriously considered a pickleball divorce. And side note, I was like, do I even want to be married to you anymore? And we have a great relationship off the court. So that was disturbing. But then Stormy and I met in Costa Rica and had this experience of like on the pickleball court. And I had the same experiences and saw other couples having similar experiences. And we decided we got to solve this. We got to help people.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. First of all, I just want to say I'm so glad that I'm not the only one because my husband, we've been married for almost 28 years, like we are a great team, but my gosh, is he driving nuts on the pickleball court, like nuts. And he's very similar to what you were saying, Teri, that he's just naturally really good at it. I've always said like his hand-eye coordination is just so much better than mine, where he just naturally picks up sports where like I grew up with dance. And so I didn't do any of those types of sports. And it's very evident in how we play. So while I love it and I'm super competitive and all that, he is crazy competitive. And so are my boys. And it's funny because my daughter doesn't even really want to play with any of us because she's like, you guys are just way too intense.
Totally. Yeah. I grew up dancing too. Our backgrounds are really similar.
Very similar, where it's like you have that spatial body awareness, but not necessarily. I just don't have just that natural skill set that he has. It drives me crazy. And they're that way with ping pong and tennis and golf and
Anything.
all the things, So that does make me feel good to know that we're not the only ones that are very annoyed with each other on the pickleball court. And when you say you got a pickleball, you were considering that pickleball divorce. I think I just mentally, like he really hasn't played this year. And I think it's because of that we really just don't have that great of a time together. So I'm really excited to hear about this book in a pickle because it is something that was initially my thought was like, this will be something really fun for he and I to do together. And I think in his mind, he's, yeah, golf is the much better way to go for you and I to play together.
Yeah.
Not a team sport.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's just talk about pickleball. What sucked you into the game?
The community. Absolutely. The people are amazing. And then when you start playing and start to get better and better, the quickness of the game, there's so much complexity, even though it's also a very accessible and approachable game, but the more complex you want it to be, the more complex it becomes. It's a fast play. It's a social play. It's fun. It's just so fun.
It is so fun. Yeah, Tech wrote a great article about this cult of pickleball and talking about it as an allegiance. And I agree with what Teri said. The community is just amazing. She says that you don't meet too many total jerks on the pickleball court. Every now and then, but not very often. And I think the community for sure, like Teri and I met and we've played pickleball in Mexico and Costa Rica and Texas and expanding to more states and countries, just as an example. But amazing community, obviously the fitness. I like what you said too, Jill, that like it was something you want to do together because as we age with our partners, it's something great to do together until it's not, right? And that was really one of the motivations of writing this book for us is like we wanted to play better with our lovers, our partners, our significant others. And we wanted other people to be able to play better because it's not fun when you see that at rec play or at the tournaments, like the couples just at each other's throats. It's not fun for anyone.
So true. So tell me, okay, so when you're seeing this happen, either whether it's in your own relationship or if you're noticing it with another couple, what's like maybe one of the top things that you're seeing that you're like, ooh, that's a red flag there?
Yeah, I think for me, it's we have a chapter called How to Play with Intention rather than intention against each other, right? So you feel it, right? You hear it, you feel it. It's the verbals and the non-verbals. We say in the book, the sound of an eye roll, right? Other people witness it when you're on the receiving or the giving end of it, you feel it. So, really like the vibe couples are, and if I'm playing them, let's say in a tournament, I'm like, yes, because I know that we're probably going to win the next 1 to 3 points because they're in conflict. So I think that's how I would describe it. You can tell whether it's the verbals or the nonverbals or energy or all of the above.
For sure.
Yeah,
go
we
ahead.
had someone say at our club, what's the best way to beat Raj and Teri? Get them fighting. Hit it down the middle.
That down the middle. Oh my gosh. They call that the divorce shot, I think. It is the worst when that happens. You're just, yeah. And the nonverbals. I noticed that even years ago, my son playing with like his girlfriend, and he was a lot better than she was. And this is just in family games, playing for fun. And he was doing the same thing. She'd turn around and he'd throw his hands up in the air. And I remember after we played, we walked off the court and she said something like, I think we all need a 10-minute cool it. Nobody can talk for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I said, that is such a good idea because I don't know what it is about your family that the gloves come off. We just go at it. You want to dominate in the family. There's nothing more competitive than siblings playing together for sure.
Yeah.
But listen, my husband and I, when we played together, and we've played in some round robins or we're just playing for fun, or whether we're playing in more of a tournament style deal, what drives me crazy is I play a lot more than he does. And again, he is more talented naturally than I am, but I know more strategy in the game and when the moving up versus not staying together. And there's a lot of like little things. And what I noticed for he and I was that if I started like telling him something like, hey, don't go up so fast because I'm getting caught back here and we're leaving this big open spot between us. And I'm not great at my drops are getting better. But if I was doing maybe a third to a fifth shot drop and I popped it up too high. I'm like, you running up there is not helping us. Like, we need to stay as a team. Like, we're on a string. Let's stay closer together. And he just did not like that at all. So then he was getting really mad at me because he thought I'm telling him what to do. And I'm like, ah. So then I just have to shut down. Have you guys found that either one of you or your partner, you're trying to give helpful advice and it is not received?
For us, it is the opposite typically, but we have a whole section in the book, a whole chapter on feedback and how it's a two-way street. It's not just him giving it to me, it's me also, hey, you're running in too fast, or you're stepping in and going back, or your husband's going to learn because if you pop the ball up, he's going to get hit.
But that's the thing. I know. And I'm like, you would think you would, but instead it's just looking at me. What are you popping the ball up for? I'm like, because I'm not perfect. I don't know.
Which is really, we know that look.
And that's what we say. Nobody tries to pop the ball up. And that's really well said. So yeah, there's a whole chapter on feedback, like Teri mentioned, but also you mentioned about skill discrepancy, right? When there's a skill discrepancy in a couple, a love partnership. But also you mentioned about like you have more strategy and maybe read the court better. So we have a whole part of our chapter about pickleball IQ versus pickleball EQ, right? So obviously you were saying you have higher pickleball IQ to be able to know the strategy and read the strategy, which is great. And then it's like, how do we translate in that to pickleball EQ so that you communicate that in a way that your husband can hear and receive, right? So that's really undermines the book is running all the way through it are like, what are strategies that are off the court relationship strategies, communication strategies taken from our background of relationship and executive coaching, and then applying them to the pickleball court so that you play better, win more points, and love more. That's really the gist of the book, right? On and off the court to improve your relationship.
What did your significant others think about this when you told them, hey, we're actually going to write a book about this?
They were both really enthusiastic and they've both been extremely supportive. I'll speak for Raj. In reading the book, it really helped him increase his awareness of the impact that he has on me and other people he plays with, particularly on me. But just understanding that everybody learns at a different rate. Everybody, picks things up the way they do. It's not, we like to practice, I like to practice, but I'm not going to be perfect and I'm going to do the same thing over and hope for another result. I am the definition of insanity. I would say Steve for Stormy and Raj for me. They see themselves as the villains in the book, but without them, there wouldn't be a book.
That's right.
Yeah, my boyfriend jokes that his lawyers will be in touch, but and also someone said to him at a book signing we just did recently, said, have you read the book? And he was like, I am the book. And Raj are the book, which is very true. But I think one thing we wanted to say, and that was why in our acknowledgement, there wouldn't be a book without them. And they have been incredibly supportive. And Steve is my partner is my favorite person to play pickleball with. Like that, we have gotten to that point and we don't do it perfectly. We still have rough days on the court where we're like, we need a beat, we need to take a minute, we need a pause. But I think it's just that gratitude to them because it really is a relationship workshop on the pickleball court.
Love it. Tell me, okay, my thing with me and how I am, and I know this about myself, is I need a cheerleader out there. I need someone to really pump me up, be like, that was a great shot. And I think for my husband, like he's not used to that at all. So he is more of he played competitive golf and that's an individual sport and you're not out there pumping other people up. And I feel like in pickleball, when I'm playing my best, it's like my partner and we tap paddles like after every point. Like I like doing that kind of interaction, like a volleyball. And I didn't play volleyball. I wish I had because I think volleyball players are incredible pickleball players. But I'm used to that kind of like feeding off of each other and pick me up. Don't worry about it, whatever. And he is radio silent. And so then I find myself becoming the worst, which is, I think, the over apologizer. And I hate when people do that. And then when I'm playing with him, I'm just constantly, oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh my bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And it's just I don't even know who I became in this game.
Yeah, very much. So we talk about that in the book about our partners are like full of apologies. And so are we when we play with other people. And then how that can either go away or in your case, get even more intense where we're just over apologizing. We don't even know what we're apologizing for because now you've got relationship dynamics and pickleball dynamics going on, pickleball partner dynamics going on. I think that's one of the reasons why we really wanted to give helpful, relatable, and irreverent was our intention with the book, and have it give strategies that can work for every couple, that we got to really, as we, like Teri said, as we were writing the book, we got to say, let's try this. Does this really work? And really say, yeah, that was really effective. We played better today. We played better strategically, but we also played better relationally.
Love that. What would you say? What was something for you? I'll start with you, Teri. What was one strategy in the book that like really helped you and your spouse?
I'm going to go back to what you said. We have a section on pickleball love languages. And my love language, like yours, I think, is affirmation. And I did not know that. I didn't buy into the love language thing, all the years of the love language thing being out there. I'm like, whatever. So super dismissive of it. Thought I knew what my love language was, thought I knew what Raj's was. I was wrong on both of them. I never would have thought mine was words of affirmation. But now that I know that, and he knows that, he understands like the encouragement on the court is really important to me. Not that he does it perfectly, because he doesn't, but if he does, or when he does, it makes a huge difference for me. And so I would say everybody should go out and actually take that love language quiz and take it to heart on the pickleball court, because it is a game changer, I would say. And we define the whole thing in the book, different examples of if your love language is what, like Stormy's and Steve's are what, physical touch.
Yeah.
And so they're together all the time because that's meaningful to them. Knowing what your love language is actually makes a big difference on the court.
Midlife friends, are you ready to transform your body and life in 2025? Join me for my New Year round of the Faster Way to Fat Loss, which is starting soon. This isn't just another diet, it's a scientifically proven program that combines strategic nutrition, effective workouts, and personalized coaching to help you burn fat and build lean muscle. With our signature approach, you'll learn how to fuel your body properly, optimize your workouts, and create lasting healthy habits. No more yo-yo dieting or frustrating plateaus. As your certified coach, I will guide you through every step of the way. Together, we will unlock your body's fat-burning potential and help you achieve the results you have always wanted. Don't wait, spots are limited. Sign up now and make this your year of transformation with me and the Faster Way. Check out today's show notes for all the details.
How interesting.
Yeah, it really does. That's really, yeah, I totally agree with what Teri just shared. And it was surprising for both of us. And I've used the love languages for many years with my relationship coaching, but applying it to the pickleball court was really helpful for me and my partner. And you mentioned, Jill, that you learn like through Atta Girls, through affirmation. And there is something about, they say that the male brain learns more through challenge and the female brain learns more through praise and encouragement. I certainly found that on the pickleball court. Like, I'm like, dude, and guys will be like, come on, is that the best you got to each other? But you don't do that with a female partner. It's way to go, good shot, good effort.
Yes.
Now I rise in my play versus seriously, that's what were you thinking? I didn't try to hit it out or into the net. So there's a difference between the male brain and the female brain. So we try to normalize some of that and give some strategies for that. And I pick a different strategy every time I get asked what my favorite strategy is. But right now, today, I think it would be usually what Teri says, which is safe words. We have a whole part of the book about using a safe word. So obviously from a different genre, but applied to the pickleball court, about basically taking a beat, right? It's your word with your partner. That means enough. I can't have any more feedback. I don't want another eye roll. Like, I've hit my limit of taking things in. And so like Steve's mind is pineapple. So if I'm, maybe we're just having a bad day on the court and I'm like, pineapple, like he just knows he needs to zip it. No more feedback. So that's my favorite strategy from the book.
Oh, that's a great one. That's really good. It's funny because I notice when I'm playing that, and maybe this is just how females are, but if my partner makes a mistake, I'll always say something like, but that was a great idea. That was the right strategy, or that was smart. That was a good play. Just barely missed it. That was close. Or I'll say, I've done the same thing. It happens. It's almost like I probably need to just be quiet. There's a lot of times I'll finish playing. I'm riding my bike home and I'm like, just shut your mouth. Like, you talk too much out there. I'm sure my husband, like if he was going to go and play with like me and all of my girlfriends that play, I think we would drive him absolutely nuts because we are just, you know.
Totally.
It is so interesting though. Does these strategies that you're talking about in the book, does that help you? Have you noticed playing with other people, like other male counterparts on the, pickleball court?
Yeah, I've noticed because I play, so part of our strategy was to not play with each other in competitive play. And so we have a throuple, meaning I play with them for league play and Raj plays with them for tournament play. And I have noticed, especially recently, he's a really good communicator, but I'm not enjoying our play anymore. I'd rather
Mm.
play with Raj.
Oh, good. That's,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Yay!
yeah. Oh, I hope he doesn't hear that.
But that's,
Um,
but that's a good
yeah,
thing. I think he would be like, good. I'm glad you'd rather play with your significant
because
other.
Raj is predictable. Like I know what he's going to do, and that helps a lot.
What are the strategies just for the pickleball aficionados out there? What with you and your partner, Stormy, I'll start with you. What are your strengths as a team when the two of you are there? Do you have certain strategies that you try to do?
Yeah. So as far as pickleball IQ, like our actual like strategy, my partner is much more poach energy and I'm much more like defensive reset energy, keep the ball in. So I play right, he plays left, we're both right-handed players. And he also knows that I don't want him covering 95% of the court. Like I can cover my part of the court because a lot of the memes out there about men covering literally the whole court and earning on the other side or whatever. So we have that kind of understanding. And then right now I'm recovering from a hip replacement. So again,
Oh,
communication
wow.
piece, I'm like almost 5 months out of a hip replacement. So he knows he's got to cover the lobs and he's got to cover the right hand short drops. And so again, just that in setting intention, being clear in your communication, he knows right now I need to be a little cautious. So I want him to be more poach energy. And then hopefully that kind of balances out as I, continue to recover. But I think and we both, and so at first he was way more of a finesse player and I was way more of a power player. And through this, actually writing this book, we started to see, hey, like he needs to work on his power game. I want to work on my finesse game. And that made us more balanced in play.
Wow, that's great. So you both are right-handed, but he keeps himself on the left side and you stay on the right side. So you're stacking a lot.
Yeah, we definitely stack. And I definitely, so again, that communication piece, I'm better at keeping track of the score, particularly when stacking. So that's my role. So I always like whisper the score to him before he says the score. And it really is, feels like a really beautiful communication workshop. And we say in the book, is it a cage match or a workshop? It depends on the day.
Oh, how funny. What about you, Terry? Tell us about your game with your spouse.
So Raj does cover most of the court, and I cover the line, whichever line I'm supposed to cover. We don't stack. I get too confused, but that's how we play. I'll cover the middle if I'm on the forehand side, but I won't if I'm not. But I'll cover the line. That's mostly our strategy. Dinking with purpose is my work on every time. It's hard, but that's what I'm working on in all my games.
Now, do you guys play in tournaments with your significant others? Or are you mostly just playing like league play?
So I love tournaments and I want to play as many as I can with my partner and also with Teri and I actually played women's together. That was my
Oh,
first
fun.
time playing women's, which was super fun. But yeah, I love tournament play. And so I think I probably even love it more than my partner, but he likes it a lot too. And we do play together. We tend to do better then because we are like just with the like competition and kind of focusing in. Then if we're just playing in rec play, I can be more like, let's just chit chat and have fun. And so for us, the competition makes me hone in and focus. But we definitely had there's some stories in the book about tournament play gone wrong. So
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to read this book. Okay, so both of you are in Costa Rica, at least part of the year. What's the play like down there?
Well, this past couple of weeks it's been raining torrentially, so it's been crap.
like 22 days of straight rain.
Oh my gosh. And you would think the
Yeah.
rainy season would be over by now. Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we went, and it wasn't.
Right.
But we'll go back in February and play.
Mhm.
There's a tournament happening that we're all
Oh,
playing.
fun. Now, and then my son used to live in Austin, Texas. And of course, he was living downtown and he was just trying to get in a court wherever he could. And we actually played with him one time down there. And I was shocked at there and a couple other places I've been in Florida when you play on public courts, how long you have to wait to stack your paddles and how many paddles are stacked in there. And I just think, oh my gosh, I live in a small town in Illinois and it's very rare that you would ever have to wait. And then when I'm in Florida, I'm playing at my club and I joined another club. So I have two private clubs that I can play and you very rarely have to wait very long. So I definitely think it's interesting when you get in these highly populated areas, like how popular it is and also how many younger players are out there. So when you
Yeah.
guys are playing, like, are you playing with mostly people your age, or is it all over the board?
So we're playing at our club typically, so we don't have to wait. We're about to join Austin Pickle Ranch.
Fun.
And I think it's a varied, I've seen a varied group. You've got, because they really do it by duper. So you've got all ages, and I don't know how many of the courts they have, maybe 16, maybe 20, a lot, and they're packed. So it's super popular. And if you go to any of the public courts, including like Lifetime, getting on a court is just impossible.
It's wild. And I feel like everywhere they're just trying to figure out like where can we get these courts in? How are people playing? And we have stacking ability at our little courts in my hometown in Illinois, but nobody uses them. We're all just there on the honor system. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we can just tell. We can just tell who's coming in and who's
Yeah.
new and just get on and off the court. So I'm sure at some point in time we're going to have to start using that. And that's good. I always think that's a challenge. What people don't understand, there's so many little parts about pickleball that you really do have to work on your social skills to have some conflict resolution with
Yeah,
strangers
totally.
because it is a community. And what I feel like is really different about pickleball is that it is so inclusive to any other sport I've ever seen, where it's everyone should feel very welcome. Now, I do know that can get a little dicey if you've got some really extreme different skill levels happening. Do you guys notice that where you play?
Yeah, I joke that I came from the dark side because I came from a tennis background too, which I thought my tennis community was awesome. No insult to them, but the pickleball community is amazing. Like it's so welcoming. And to your point, yes, situational awareness, like use your social skills, use your words. I think with that for sure we say in the book. But I started playing down here in Costa Rica. That's where I met Teri, coming up on 2 years now. Our community down here is awesome. A little bit again, like I would say older crowd, like meaning like we don't have a lot of 18 to 30-year-olds, whereas in Utah where I play, that's the fastest growing segment right now in pickleball. So we see a lot of young people at our club in Salt Lake City. And both of our communities, we have this awesome Salt Lake City pickleball community and this awesome Costa Rica pickleball community.
So
And
fun.
I feel really lucky to have it. I literally think of, well, what did we do and where did we travel? Who did we travel with before pickleball took over our life?
I say that to one of my friends all the time. I'm like, what were we even doing with our lives? For me, and I've said this on the podcast so many times, but it just came at the right time because I was becoming an empty nester at the same time that pickleball kind of got really popular where I live. And it just gave me this outlet, not just a hobby, but getting outside, getting more exercise, more steps in my day. And I had no idea. Like, I didn't join pickleball for a community, but that was the biggest benefit of them all. So I would just encourage anyone out there that is listening to this and you're like, I've never played, you will get so much out of it that you have no idea.
The joy for us is to get more people playing. My sister's playing now in Portland, and my friends are playing now in Seattle. And like anytime we can help people into the game, that's what we want. And that's why it is like a cult.
It totally is. It totally is.
The
Could you
best,
tell
nicest cult ever, but
for real?
Healthiest.
Yes, exactly. Could you tell me like what are some of the life lessons have you taken away from the game?
that's a good one.
Communication is key. Because Raj is so good, I don't think he feels the need to communicate, and I'm trying to say, this was feedback to him the other day, was can you just call it? So I like when he's coming up from the line and I'm standing I'm trying to poach. I don't know he's there. You need to have awareness. I'm like, you need to communicate, but communication. So I'm an executive coach. Communication is key in leadership. Communication is key on the pickleball court, and it's certainly key in life. And I would say that this book is truly a book about relationships and communication wrapped up in a pickleball sport.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a really great question about the overall our journeys with pickleball. I think for me, we already mentioned community. And then also, I know, Jill, like a lot of your listeners, you have a desire to help women live more vibrantly and passionately and fabulously in the middle years. And I think I'm 48, so I found pickleball 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years, and very much in the middle and in transition time with perimenopause and all these other things. And I just felt like playful again. I felt like joyful and
Yes.
playful, and I had this allegiance, and I couldn't wait. Even when I was so sore I could barely walk, I was like, oh yeah, I'll play again. Sure, I'll play tomorrow. And I think I just needed that. And because I think the middle years are really sweet and tender, and that women tend to be changing of roles, often becoming empty nesters if we have kids, and just our own hormonal transition so much. And pickleball for me came at like the sweetest, best time to just, I guess that's what I'm feeling right now, is the playfulness of it all. It's a game with a wiffle ball I called pickleball that we're all completely obsessed with, and I can't get enough of it.
There is something so youthful about it and just exuberant. I don't know. It is like just getting outside and you're laughing. There's so much. I don't know another sport where you hear that much laughter on while people are playing. Even if it's in an intense game, there's still good like in just rec play. I don't know how tournaments go. I don't play enough tournaments to know. I'm sure that's a totally different deal. But just for the average person going out and just playing, you will laugh your ass off. There's just so many crazy things that happen. And again, opening yourself up in this stage of life to just meeting new people that you never knew existed. And I think how much more enriched my life is because I now know all these people and hearing their life experiences and just having fun. What would you say for someone that's never played before? What's your advice to getting into the game?
Pick up a paddle, go. Find a place where you can take a pickleball 101, get the basics, because there's some complication with the scoring and stuff, but just go and just start playing. There's no other way to do it.
Yeah.
People are welcoming, and we all were beginners. We all started somewhere. So just do it. Do not wait. Go, run.
I always tell everybody, I'm like, go and take 3 buddies with you. Maybe they're coworkers or your family or friends, but get 3 other people and just, you can hire a coach or you can go to a local facility to see who's teaching, or maybe even like your community college. Our community college around us always has offering courses on it. But yeah, like that way you're learning and rising together, because I found that to be what really got me into it, was that I had a group of teacher friends that started playing at the same time, and we all just started going out there. And so we all started at the bottom and we're getting a little bit better every year. But that for me is what worked the best.
Yeah, and I love what Teri's, I mean, I love like Teri's point, just to go, right? Especially as we get older, it's like the novelty itself is so good for us and our brains and our nervous system. But I also like the idea, like Teri mentioned, if rec play feels intimidating, because usually people are incredibly welcoming during open play, rec play. But there's so many beginner classes out there now. So if that feels better, that's a great entry point.
You could definitely even just get on your Facebook page or get on Facebook and look up in your like just search pickleball. And there's always like community groups in there I know there's groups that are national ones, and that people are asking all the time, like, where could I play in this part of the country? And then you'll see 50 answers underneath it where people are like, oh yeah, we play here and it's great. It's the same thing with golf. There's like women's pickleball groups, there's women golf groups, there's all you can find. You just have to search it out a little bit. When it comes to showing up at a pickleball court, how are you guys typically going out there? Like, you have a game, like a group of 4 that you're playing with, or do you just stack your paddles and you just go out there with whoever's there?
Both. We, like when we were in Costa Rica, the 4 of us like to play together, so we try to, but we do it during open play, so we end up playing and mixing in with other people. I like to organize games of 8, so I
Oh, that's
typically do
neat.
that on Sundays. I have a ladies group on Fridays that is an organized group, so I like to play that way, be organized and know who's playing.
I
But
like the
I'm
same.
open. I'm open
Totally.
to.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So let's hear about the book. Where can we buy the book? Where can we find it? And where can we check in with you and find you out on the social media?
Yeah, so the book is called In a Pickle: How to Master Love and Pickleball and Not Kill Each Other. You can find it on Amazon. And if you buy it, please write a review because we need them right now. It's really important. But it did hit #1 new release in the sports
Oh,
category on Amazon.
amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah,
That's so
thanks.
exciting. It would really be such a great stocking stuffer, I think, and just such an easy gift. Or
Totally.
if you're going to, it could be a white elephant party or just a hostess gift, or there's just so many I think books like this would just make a fabulous gift for so many different people. Such a talking like piece too, just to have laying around in your house. I think that would be really fun.
That was part of our intention of having it be bright red, glossy. It really is meant to be a gift book. And I'm always looking for gifts for my pickleball friends. Probably everyone out there is. So it's a great one. And you can also find us. So the book's on Amazon, like Teri mentioned, and then our website's loveandpickleball.net. And then we are on Instagram at love_and_pickleball. And both of them have links to point you back to Amazon, but otherwise newsletter and things like that. Would love to have everyone follow along.
Perfect. Okay. I'll link that up in the show notes. Ladies, thank you so much. This has been so fun. I cannot wait to read the book and tell all my friends about it. So I hope all you listeners out there will get your hands on this book as well. Thanks for being here, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Live Your Best Midlife. If you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that follow button. And if you want to help more people discover my podcast, I'd be so grateful if you could take a moment to leave a rating and a review. Your feedback not only brightens my day, but it helps others to find my show. And if you're craving some more behind the scenes action, follow me on TikTok at Jill Lewis Living or on Instagram at Jill B. Lewis.